Paul Vigna of Dow Jones Newswires is here, host of the Markets Hub.
Happy
the host
to be
with
here,
the most.
Evan.
Yeah, I know you're happy to be here.
The host with something at least.
You got something.
I got something.
You got something. You got a Super Bowl trophy this past week.
I do, and I noticed you didn't come by my desk to congratulate me.
I did when you walked by.
Oh, I was away from the
you
desk.
walked by. I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to bother you in your moment of joy.
I appreciate that.
Speaking of joy.
Not much joy in the stock market today, huh?
I
think you and I actually kind of agree with it. I don't really buy that today's sell-off is really about Greece. When the market hasn't cared about Greece for a long time, they've been dithering. With the stuff we're seeing now, we've seen for a while, and the market didn't care then.
But all of a sudden,
they care. Now, I don't really buy.
Now, in fairness to those who were taunting me as I walked across the newsroom earlier today about the market, I can't give names. I will not name names. No, it was not you.
Okay.
But as I said, if you had really worried about Greece coming apart in August of 2010, when first started making headlines, you would have been buying the S&P at about 1,000, and now it's 35% higher than that, and you're still supposed to be worried about Greece. So I think there is a little ennui in the market.
I think today is just. You have not seen a real sell-off like this year. I mean, the market has just been up and up and up and up. It doesn't normally go in that direction. As you know, every once in a while you're going to have a sell-off. So for whatever reason, call it profit-taking, call it a pause. I just think we're due for a down day. The market got it.
Right. And yet there is a real issue going on in Greece right now, and I think we're going to talk later in the program with more detail. But the reality is this, which is we're down to kind of the last innings here. Where either Greece is going to sign on to some kind of package in the next week or so, or they're not. I mean, either they're going to be thrown out of the European Union, or at least the monetary union, at least, or they're not.
To tell the truth, and I said this earlier on my show, to my way of thinking, I think Germany, some of the other northern countries, I think they're trying to get rid of Greece.
Yeah.
They're just putting up hurdles, insulting their sovereignty.
You really think so?
Absolutely. They'll never say it. Look, I don't have sources telling me this either. This is totally my supposition.
That's what the protesters on the streets of Athens are saying.
I think the German people are tired of this. The Greek people are obviously tired of it. I think the leadership is, they're not going to come out and say you have to go. But if they kind of make it so that the Greeks get so annoyed that they leave, that it's like Merkel said, no, don't leave.
But
so you gotta go.
Yeah, but on the other hand, to be fair to the other people that would remain in the European Monetary Union, Greece as a country has not, I think, followed through on most, if not all, of the preconditions set. None. I mean, they've done very, very little in terms of restructuring their economy.
And this is really the whole problem. You're talking about Greece, Italy especially, Portugal. You're trying to turn these countries around overnight, expecting them to culturally be something that we all know that they're really not. It just doesn't work that way.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way. So yes, the Greeks said, well, we'll agree to whatever terms you want. We'll do whatever you want, and they didn't really do it.
Right.
Is it to be expected? Of course it is. Should the Germans distrust the Greeks because of it? Yeah, maybe, I guess,
Yeah.
But to your point, I do think something big is going to happen in the next week or so. You could see Greece bolt the Eurozone.
Right.
Nobody knows what's going to happen after that, though.
Let's focus on the U.S., though.
Let's focus on the U.S.
Let's turn to the U.S., the U.S. stock market, which has had a pretty auspicious beginning of the year.
I would say.
August. You are a bit of a skeptic when it comes to the market, and we were talking a little bit earlier about earnings, and you said you just don't see the future in the earnings growth. Is that what?
What do you see?
I see a stock market that's still trading plus or minus at 12 times to maybe 13 times this year's earnings.
I didn't ask you that. I asked, what do you see about profits?
Where do you see them going? 12 or 13.
No, you told me what the stock market is doing. Where do you see profit growth going?
Oh, there will be profit growth.
The E. Let's talk about the E.
Let's talk about the E.
The E is narrowing.
My view on this is you can have multiple expansion can take the stock market from 1350 on the S&P 500 to 1500 without any demonstrable change in the earnings forecasts for this year. You need just greater certainty in the market. And for me, the trade...
So the E doesn't matter is what you're really saying.
No, the E does matter.
Sounds to me like you're saying the E doesn't really matter.
Here's the way I would posit it to you. I'm in the, and I've been for longer than they have, in the Larry Fink school of, if you have a bond.
Are you 100% equities?
Personally, I'm not that far from it.
You're not?
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm definitely north of 90%. Okay? And so
Close
I put
enough.
my money where my mouth is, and I just don't see the relative attraction of bonds versus, especially if the global economy is getting its legs back, even though it may take a while.
And especially, to your point and to Larry's point, with what the Fed is doing to rates. I mean, they're holding down rates.
Right.
They are literally have both feet on the neck of the bond market. So to that point, yes, I understand the relative attraction of stocks versus bonds. But you want to talk about corporate profits, I think there's an issue with corporate profits. They are narrowing. You're not going to see the same kind of profit growth this year and this quarter that you've seen in the past couple of years.
Right.
Is that an issue for the stock market? Not right now, but it is the reality of it. Whether the stock market starts caring about it or not probably has a lot to do with which direction the economy goes.
What do I have to do to turn you into a bull? What do I have to do?
God, that's such a good question.
You know, because
such a good question.
You're never happy. You're never happy.
Actually, I'm always very happy.
No, but you're never happy
my
about the
personal
stock
life, I'm
market.
very happy. The
You're not
stock market, I'm a
optimistic.
doubt.